The flowers do remind me of Echinacea, and I thought since it's fall, winter, and everybody is starting to have colds, Echinacea is a good flower. It boosts the immune system. I finished the second square out of Anna Pantelous' book, Learn to Knit in 50 Squares. It was this striped garter-stitch square. Even though this square doesn't look anything like the square out of the book, it's actually exactly the same. I didn't change anything on the square. It is, there's the other one there, underneath. It is actually this striped square here. This is the square, and there are stripes, just like she did it. I didn't take contrasting colors though to make the stripes. The stripes where you see sometimes the green is with those two yarns held together, and the stripes in between are with this mohair silk blend and that shiny black glittery sock yarn. If you watch really closely, you can actually see the different shades in black. The reason I did that is so I get those green stripes from this yarn a little more spaced out, because I thought it would give me lines like this and I could make flowers. It was interesting to knit because I didn't know when the stripes would show up, and I always hoped it would be on a good place. And for example, here is that long bright stripe and it went all the way. And here the darks, yeah, here too, they went the whole length. And I said, oh no, now I can't make my flowers. And then when the square was finished, I thought, you know what, whatever. I'm just gonna have the flower petals outside of the square, since I make this border with all my squares. And I kind of like the outcome. Now when I look at it, I probably would put this flower a little lower, so not all of them are in the same height. And since it's dark here, probably use this yarn over here and this yarn over here. But I leave it as it is because it's gonna be a big blanket and nobody's gonna see where the flower is placed. I embroidered it and put a bead on each flower with a little bit of a different shade. For the grey border here, I started using this thread that has tiny little green flowers, sequin flowers in it. You can barely see them, but they do add a little texture. I also used it in that teal color in the 3D illusion part of the square. I like the little freckles that it provides. That stripe I did with this sock yarn, and I added a little bit of glitter there, but you probably can't see in the video. All in all, I like it. Maybe this grey part could have been a little brighter. If you compare it to my first square, this pops a little more. But I didn't want to use this yarn here again because those squares will be next to each other since I graft them together right away. So I was looking at the grafting options. I have several options. This one, I don't like this because those two grays are too similar. I don't want them to meet. This one, I don't like those two parts together. This one feels a little heavy on this square if I put that dark here. This option would work, but nah. This option, it's also, I don't like those two together. The only option I agree with those two squares is this, and I think that fits just beautifully. This is nice. I really like how the flowers grow here from that greenish theme into the pink, and then on top is the pinkish square. In the first square, I finished all the 6 purple rows and that last black row, and I realized I want to reopen the last black row because I'm going to use that last row to graft, so it has a seamless transition from this shaded part of the square to the new one. And that's how I will do it with both of those sides. I will always, the last row, I will keep the thread unknitted so I can graft the next square to it. I will have to open the last row of this gray too, and here I actually left the last row and here I needed it. I will have to reopen that row too. So yeah, but in future I will do it like that, just leave enough yarn, you know, like 4 times the length. That gives me enough space to comfortably weave in the end. The other side of the square looks like this. I have woven in all ends, even the little flowers here. Like in the first square, I leave those ends tangle here so I can weave it in after I grafted it to not have stitches that are too tight suddenly. With this square, I really figured out my frame options here now. I did this frame a little different than this one, just to see how it looks, and I actually like the first. I like it better how I did it the first time. I really like the corners here. Those corners got a little different. They're nice too. It works. It's a little easier to knit it this way, but I think I will go back to the first option and I will show that in a separate video how I did that. I also figured out now how I do this corner, and I'm really happy with this. It's much stretchier than this one, and it looks a little neater too. And I think I will make a separate video of that also, if somebody's interested in those two things. But I think I will make it anyway, just so I remember, because who knows, in a busy week I forget how I did it. What do you think? I love it. It looks very fairy tale-y, kind of night, mysterious. The style is a little different than this one, but when the whole blanket comes together, it will all be unified. It looks like I'm having a flower theme going on here. Maybe I continue with the flowers theme. It's gonna be like a rooftop garden blanket or something, because they're supposed to be towers of New York, maybe, who knows. There are awesome rooftop gardens in New York, so why not make this a rooftop garden blanket? I don't know, maybe suddenly I'm tired of flowers and I go industrial. I keep this video very short. You saw the square. The technical videos I will do separate, so people that just want to see a technique don't have to listen to my whole babbling. I will just slowly add the technical stuff as I have time to do it. I look forward to the next square this week, which is in the book, the pearly one it's called. It's just stockinette stitch with a garter border. And I already have something in mind what I do with this. So check back to see my next customization of square 3 out of this book. I hope you follow along and do your own versions or the same versions like in the book. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to see more squares coming. Check how I did the first one, or check the whole concept of this story. I hope I inspire you to do your own versions of the squares, come up with ideas. I talk to you soon.